This Mercedes Gle63S crashed into a tree, and the tree won. It broke the steering rack into two, put a hole in the diff, ripped off the rear and the front suspension, set off all the airbags, damaged the hybrid battery, but worst of all, it's damaged not only the inner wing, but the strut tower and the chassis leg, which to fix is no easy job. When I bought this car, we knew about this damage, but we were unsure about the chassis leg. We were hoping that this wasn't going to be damaged, but once we got the engine out, we could clearly see that due to this ripple here, and also another one back here, that this chassis leg is done for. And the only way to fix that properly is to replace it. Which is why we have been to Mercedes and bought this complete replacement strut tower, inner wing and chassis leg as one complete unit. Which I paid for with my Revolut card. And you can get yourself a £20 welcome bonus when you sign up using Revolut for free with my link and use your card. This is the most efficient way to buy it and fit it, because most of it comes pre-assembled. But before we even think about fitting up the new one, we've got to sort out this mess. And the first job before we can get this off is giving it a pull. And there's a few reasons why we want to do this. Firstly is because there's some trapped wiring in between the strut tower and inner wing where it's all bent round, which we want to try and save. And also, it's good practice to do this before we chop off a panel ready for it to be replaced. So we can get a bit more movement, we chop off this piece which connects the inner wing to the chassis leg, which is hopefully going to make things move a bit freer. And then we could start pulling, but it wasn't really having the effect we wanted.
We've got our wires out, and that's what we wanted to achieve, because we don't want no more wiring damage.
So now that we've got that done, we can move on, and now we've got to remove everything from the car and completely strip it down so we can see where this chassis leg joins to the rest of the body. Just so you know, that should be straight.
Could put in there the important bit and all that.
Yeah, the ABS module.
Yeah.
That's good. Try and leave the brake lines in place, but
yeah.
But everything in this engine bay is so tightly packed, but we got away quite lucky that the ABS module wasn't damaged because we had a nightmare on this when it came to the Porsche. So what we're trying to do now is basically strip everything off this area which we need to replace. So getting everything that's going to get in the way, out of the way, which is then going to give us access to all the spot welds, rivets and everything which we need to drill out to take this off. Okay, now we've got everything out of the way here and we've started taking off some of the seam sealer, and what we're trying to do is expose the join where our new panel is going to join to the old stuff. Now luckily we can see where the damage is. We've got a bulge here, just here, and we've got another one just here, but this piece comes with our new one, and luckily from here back we're all good. So we should be able to use this to line it up, we should be able to use some of the bracing up top to line it up, along with the slam panel. On top of that, we've got the Mercedes methods and measurements that we need to match in, so I think we should be able to get this top notch. What I'm going to do now, because we've scraped this section off, is I'm going to drill out all of these spot welds, whilst Mickey is tackling that side and dealing with the rest of the seam sealer. Does that sound like a plan?
Plan, Batman.
Fun. So we can start drilling out these spot welds, and this is how they assemble it in the factory to hold everything together, but the repair procedure is a little bit different, which you'll see later on in this video. But for now, there is some bits getting in the way of us getting to all of the spot welds to remove this.
Chop the time. We're going to cut along here and then along here to remove this bit, because we need to get all the other spot welds. And because it's a mash up, we can't get to them.
So the actual chassis leg which we are trying to replace, but not the only bit we're replacing, has only got a few more spot welds that are actually holding it on. Then we just need to unpick those and the glue, and then that should come off. But it's not just that we're changing, because we're doing this bit as well. I think our idea with this is to drill all the way through these spot welds, because then we can unpick it from this side and then tuck this section, which we've got to replace it, in there, And then the new methods actually state for us not to weld it. It's used just with bonding and self-piercing. Are they self-piercing rivets?
No.
They're just rivets.
They're just rivets.
Big fat rivets.
Strong
like
rivets. The same one. They're similar to the ones that Alta Porsche on.
Yeah, very similar to the Porsche. Yeah, that's one of them. There's 3 different types. So there, it's just those and glue, which is pretty crazy.
These big ones, I would 100% say they would be holding the chassis leg on because they're a thicker rivet, stronger. Rivet. And these other ones will just be the top panel.
Well, we'll see. We'll check the methods.
Yep.
But I find this method of putting a car together quite interesting because, as far as I'm aware, it was Lotus who developed this method of building cars with aluminium bonding and riveting rather than welding stuff. And well, it's more fun to put together, I think, rather than welding.
Yeah, I mean, I love the rivet gun we've got.
I know, yeah.
Makes life so much easier.
Well, hopefully, it won't be long till we're using that.
No.
But first, we need to get all this off.
Let's get this off.
So now we've got access, we can drill out the last few spot welds and then start chiseling the panel away. We're trying to break the glue and also the rest of the bond from the spot welds, and that should free up the chassis leg.
I think she's ready. We'll have to do a quick test kick. Oh, she's loose. Oh, there she goes. Go on. Go on. Oh, one last sneaky one.
I feel a kick from
I've
this.
just fixed it. How's that just
Give
happened?
her a little boot from this side.
Okay. How have I just done that? But I reckon there's something on there because there's stuff on this bit and stuff and nothing. Well, we haven't managed to reach that there. So how are we supposed to get to that if there is a weld or a rivet there?
And even though we thought we had it, we still didn't. This chassis leg is on strong, and I suppose you'd expect it to be, but we kept going and kept trying to remove it.
Car is strapped down, by the way, just so you know. Yes. Do you know what? All things considered, for how much weight that takes, it's not very heavy.
No, they're all weight.
You'd expect that to weigh more, wouldn't you?
Yeah, you would actually, for a chassis leg.
Yeah. Chassis leg removed. High five. Get one 2025.
Take the breach. That way.
You already know the Gle63S wasn't just damaged, it was mashed. But before we get into properly fixing what Mercedes would probably charge a mortgage for, I've got a way you can get £20 for basically nothing. So luxurious. Revolut is offering you £20 when you sign up using my link, QR code on screen, and use your card. 20 quid, that's enough to buy some fresh detailing gear or even a little bit to contribute towards your next big project. Revolut is a financial super app used by over 50 million people worldwide, and it's packed with genuinely useful stuff, like instant notifications every time you spend, built-in budgeting tools, and the ability to freeze and unfreeze your card straight from the app if you ever misplace it. You can also create virtual cards for online purchases.
You can always create you can also create online. You can also create virtual cards online.
You can also create virtual cards
You can also create virtual cards
for online purchases.
for online purchases.
And even set up disposable ones that refresh after each transaction. Ideal for that extra bit of peace of mind when you're shopping online. And if you upgrade to their metal plan, you get up to 4.5% interest on savings, 0 foreign exchange fees Monday to Friday, and a load of perks like Uber One, NordVPN, and travel insurance all built in. Sign up to Revolut using my link, use your card, get £20. It's in the description of this video and the pinned comment, and see what Revolut can do for you. So thank you to Revolut, and back to the Mercedes. Right, okay, what we're going to do now is clean up all of this stuff, clean up all the scrappy metal which we don't need, get all these bits off here, do this inner wing section as well, and then we can start cleaning everything up and test fitting the new one. But this isn't going to be a 2-minute job.
No.
Unfortunately not.
Let's get to it.
Let's get to it. Right, got a bunch of spot welds here to drill.
Very boring.
Yeah, if you love watching people drill spot welds, this is the video for you. We have now got everything off and we are cleaned up and it is ready now to receive the new chassis leg. Now there's a few ways we're going to line this up. So obviously we've got our measurements from Mercedes which we can match up. We have got our new perfect subframe to fit up, which is also going to help us indicate where it's going to go. We've got a brace which comes from here to here, which is going to show us where it goes, and also all of the old spot weld holes, which is going to give us a nice indication too. So we've got a lot of things which we can use to make sure this goes in the right place. And the first thing we're going to do is bolt the subframe up because that goes here, here, and here. And then there's only one hole in the chassis leg which it's got to line up with. So that's really going to help us get it, 95% of the way there. So let's start with that, bolt it up. Also, I've been and picked up just 4 bolts from like a bolt shop just near my house. And these aren't going to be the ones that stay on the car. They're just the same thread, same length. So we've ordered the proper ones from Mercedes. They're coming from Germany, but these will work for now. So we've got 3 out of 4 points, which leaves us with the last one, which we've got to line up with the new bit. Obviously, that's not the only thing we're using to align it, but that gets us, that knocks out a big margin straight away, and that's going to help us get it in the right place.
So now we've prepped the body of the car, we've got the subframe on there, it's time to do the first test fit with the new chassis leg. And it's always nerve-wracking when you come to fit in a new panel like this, especially when it's a structural one, because if you don't get it right, that could mean that the car never drives straight again. But after a bit of effort, we managed to get everything opened up and the chassis leg roughly in place. But now it's time to check on our measurements and see if it's actually straight or not. And we can do this with something called a tram gauge. This uses points on the car which are designed for measuring from, and you can use those to make reference points to make sure it's symmetrical, and then also compare this against Mercedes measurements themselves.
I'd say it's time.
I'd say it's time, mate. You couldn't get...
We've measured so many times now, done a little bit of tweaking to match, but there's only so much of this we can do whilst it's not glued and ready to go. So I think we're close enough to say, let's get some glue on it.
Let's get it home.
Yeah. So earlier in the video we said this is a bonded and riveted piece, which means we need some glue, but you can't just go and use Tiger Seal because it doesn't quite meet the requirements to make sure it's safe. So we've got the genuine stuff from Mercedes to make sure that this is going to be by the book. So all of this, we've got the whole shebang here. This is everything that they sell you to fit this piece. This is better than the Porsche kit, isn't it?
It is. Yeah, that's for the... So we prime the area ready for the glue.
I think we're about ready to do that, aren't we?
And the first step to that is making sure it's clean. If it's not clean, the glue won't bond.
It's like these gloves are one layer. Yeah, well, you have a try. See if you can separate them. Oh, really? Is it that easy? Look, it just doesn't work. Thanks.
You ready for arts and crafts?
Used within 8 hours. There we go, we've got 8 hours.
Okay. So we've got until about, what, 1 o'clock in the morning?
Yeah, that'll do, yeah.
8 hours starts.
Now! Countdown!
Now! So if I'm reading it right, it says when we are going to clean it using the cleaner that they've provided, and then spray the primer on, which then we sand into the surface. If it's not done right, then it looks like little beads on top of the surface. If it is done right, then it goes into there, like into the scuff. And then we've got to remove the excess primer with a fresh cleaning cloth, leaving the surface slightly coloured, then allow them to dry for 5 minutes. With this point, we can't touch it with our hands, alright?
Righto, I've got some orange ones.
These are the supplied ones though.
I know, right, but
I know, yeah, they are a bit better. Grab one of these bad boys, and we clean.
From the methods we've been given, it doesn't look like Mercedes has done what we're doing by cleaning all the surfaces, then the primer. They don't look like no primer on them. Does that look OEM? No, I don't think so.
Well, it is. Look at all that. Disgusting.
Not good. It just seems like the methods they've given us, it's just like...
They've not even followed the methods, is that what you mean? Yeah.
No, they haven't.
But I'm sure there's a reason why, but we're going to do it by the book to make sure that nothing can go wrong. So now the mating surfaces are prepped, we clean them and then apply the primer.
Here's our time scale on this. We've got 120 minutes for glue application, so 2 hours. 2 hours to get it joined, and then 4 hours to get all the rivets in. It's not horrendous, but you know, we are working on a time scale. We can't leave it till tomorrow morning if we get fed up. It should be applied immediately after the primer is dried, so my timer is going to go off any moment. And in between 15 and 25, ideal. Oh, there we go, there's a 5-minute timer. That's it. So we just put the glue on. Now the only downside is we haven't got the correct glue applicator gun, so we're gonna have to try and figure something out. Maybe we use 2 bolts and a plate.
I feel you might need one on the other side. Just stop
one each side? Oh, I really thought it was gonna work. Well, in my head it was a great idea. In reality, it's rubbish. We tried. We need the right thing.
Whoa, it's got like a little maze in the inside of it.
Yeah. It does a madness, so it starts off separate and then mazes through itself and then turns all into one. Right, so here's what we've had to do to get it out because we've not got the right gun. Now, this is fine because it takes 8 hours for this to cure, so we've got a long time of work in it basically before it goes off. We're using the metal plate and bolt solution we had with another metal plate on top on this little mini press, and pressing it into a cup, and then we can take it out the cup, work it onto the spots where we want it, and then fit it to the car. It's not stupid if it works, right? It's time. We're all mixed. I'm just gonna put all of this on because why not? It looks kind of tasty, doesn't it?
Go right along the top edge here about 6. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Glue's on. Ice blasters have shown up for a different job that we're doing, so we're gonna have to cut to the voiceover because it's about to get very loud, but let's get this panel on.
Let's go.
Woo!
So after hours and hours of prep work to get the car ready and get it to this point, we can start fitting up the new chassis leg, hopefully for the last time. So we've got a couple of braces we can bolt in to take the weight, and then we can start to check our measurements again to make sure they're absolutely on the money this time.
That's beautiful, that.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
So to hold it in place, we use some mole grips just to clamp it there, but the final thing to check is whether the subframe lines up. So for now, we can bolt it into the 3 holes that weren't damaged, and then see if the 4th one on the new chassis leg goes in easily. And you can see by my face, it did. So now everything's on, the glue's in place, and we've checked our measurements 3 times over to make sure it's spot on. So the only final thing left to do is rivet it in position. So that means drilling holes through all the layers, then one by one with our big rivet guns sending these massive rivets home to clamp that into position.
One down, loads to go.
And because we had a bit of time to get those rivets in, we wanted to test fit the front panel just to see how it looked. And compared to the old one, it's definitely looking a lot better.
Right, we are now getting through it. We're just trying to get as many rivets in as possible, just to make sure that everything's snug, that glue's gonna dry and sandwich everything together. But yeah, it's going pretty well, I think. So far, I am very, very happy. We just need to get, this is the last bit we need to get buttoned up here, which we're gonna do either with a nut and bolt or something like that. Bang some rivets in it, that's gonna get it snug. That means the glue's gonna dry and do its job. And everything's gonna be lovely. It's gone very well. I'm a happy man. Chassis leg is now on. Glue's dry, rivets are holding strong. I would happily jump up and down on that and have no dramas with it, but that's not the only piece we need to fit, because we have this, which is the inner wing piece to go in. We've got a couple more pieces which go down here, so we need to get those on too, because otherwise we're not going to be able to mount a wing or anything. Yeah, this one's pretty easy, pretty self-explanatory to line up. They give you some lovely little lining up marks which help it go there. We've got some holes in it ready. It's going to be welding the top for neatness, and then gluing and riveting the bottom section. So let's get this next piece on, shall we? We completely forgot the glue. It happens to the best of us, all right? This glue takes a little while to go off, so I'm going to weld it across the top first, and as soon as we've done that, we're going to go to the bottom and then drill holes and rivet all that in place. So the welds are going to hold it all nicely, so let's do that. That is the welding done.
Nice.
Now before the glue dries, which we have got a bit of time, let's get the rivets in.
Then with all the rivets in place, we can clean up some of the excess glue and clean up the welds, and we're just about ready for some paint.
I think that's turned out pretty well. I'm pretty happy with that.
Yeah.
That ain't going nowhere.
Solid.
So what we're going to do now is paint it, but the first thing we're going to do is remove the subframe, because that's going to get in the way. We want to paint the whole thing. Then we need to do a bit of filler work on the metal, do some priming, some seam sealing, some colour, some clear, all this sort of stuff, and then we will have a completely finished chassis leg, inner wing and strut tower done. Basically, everywhere where I've welded is where we're going to use a bit of filler, because we want it to look a little bit neater here, and I'm not going to go crazy. I just want to get a little bit, make it look smart, and then it looks smart.
Oof.
You like that?
So I can load up these areas which we want to smarten up, and you can see I've not done a perfect job, but with filler it's not the end of the world, because we're going to be sanding it back anyway.
You want some?
It felt like real life.
And once I got all of those bits sanded back, it was looking pretty good. And I think by the time we get some paint and seam sealer over some of these bits, it's going to look sensational. And it was time to get the car ready for some primer, so that means cleaning and degreasing the whole area that we want to paint. And also masking up anything we don't want to get paint on. That means this car, the car on the other ramp, and all the shelves and nice bits that we've got stored behind it.
Hiya.
What are we doing?
We are mixing some primer, high build, and it's generally 4:1. It's right on the thing. Yep.
safety. I want goggles as well, but I want priming eyeballs. Be dry, you know, when you blink it like your eyeballs are made of sandpaper.
But now all of that's done and the epoxy primer's mixed, there's only one thing left to do, and that's spray it.
Well, that's looking a lot better than last time we used it. Most definitely. Before, when we used this primer, it was a bit, it was orange peely, weren't it?
Yeah, I think when you leave it to air dry, it doesn't really perform as it should. When you lamp it, it lets the paint flow and the orange peel go out of it.
And we put a bit more thinners in it this
and
time
a bit more
as well.
thinners.
Yeah, so that's looking a lot better. We're just going to flat this top section because that's the only bit you see. And then we can put the black on after the seam sealer.
So Mickey gets on with sanding that top bit because it's the bit you see the most. We want it to look the best. The rest of it we're not too worried about. Whilst he's doing that, I can get on with the seam sealer.
Seam sealer's on. I'm never a fan of doing it. I feel like it always looks a bit rubbish, but it looks rubbish how they do it from factory, so we just do it as best we can. Don't worry about it too much. It's on, it's doing its job. Let's move on. Paint.
Shake and shake. I feel you're quite good with your right hand.
Apparently I'm good with my left as well.
If you sit on it.
We've now done everything we need to do before we get some colour on this car, so I've been down to my local paint supplier and picked up half a litre of the paint code for this Mercedes, which I'm hoping should be enough. So with everything sheeted and masked off in the unit, we're using a super low pressure to try and minimise overspray. And after a few coats of black and a couple of coats of clear, this is how it was looking.
Right, we are all painted. Before we take a proper look, we're going to pull the masking off. Are you ready, Michael?
I am ready.
We don't actually know how the colour matches. We didn't check it, did we?
I think it should be alright.
You reckon it should be okay? Black, isn't it? Yeah, no. Well, it looks better than the rest of the car.
It does.
It's the problem, isn't it? When you're doing these, like, the factory don't paint the whole thing, and it's hard to do a job like that because it's so patchy and mismatched.
Half the leg's still primed.
Yeah, like, it's hard to do it this badly in a way, isn't it?
I know.
So you've just got to paint it, it is what it is. I'd rather do it so it's all protected and all sealed, and when it gets dirty and stuff, when it's got all the arch liners in, the engine back in, you're not going to notice it because there's so much plastic and trims and stuff that go around it. And also, how often do you look under the bonnet? If you're me, quite a lot, but hopefully once it's all sorted, not too much.
No, I think that looks really good.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that.
Yeah.
That's looking sexy.
Yeah.
Now there is one bit down here that we are actually missing. The problem is with these parts, they're all in Germany and they all take a while to come. So we've got obviously the parts that you've seen us fit, but there's one more that goes here. Now the reason why we've just done this now and got it over and done with and got it painted is because now we can concentrate on getting the rest of it back together. If this bit doesn't show up for another 3 or 4 weeks or whatever it might take, then we can put that in then and we can just crack on with everything else for the meantime. It just slots in, a couple of rivets, a couple of welds, bit of seam sealer, blend in the paint, and then we can get on with it. Rather than us waiting for ages to be able to move forward just so we can get that piece in, it made sense just to paint it now and we can get on with our lives and come back to it later. Sound sensible?
I think so. It's the next day and everything's dry and looking sensational, and now that that's on, that means we can start now building the front end back up and looking at getting ready to get the engine back in. But we've got to start off with the place where we finished taking everything apart. Yes. Which means now reassembling everything here, getting everything on, back to where it was, and then hopefully we can take a look at this engine. First up, ABS pump. So we started refitting everything which we took off earlier in this video. So that's all the stuff that attaches to the chassis leg, like the fuel lines and also the ABS module.
Yourself twice.
Did you actually?
Yeah.
Hope you got all that.
Yeah.
And then as we started fitting up all of the wiring which we knew was already damaged, we came to a realisation. And we were praying that there was going to be an easy solution.
For the wiring, I'm kind of hoping if we go inside the cab that there'll be a fuse box with these plugs like this, because Mercedes do like a plug and just, instead of being hardwired, so we can just literally change that length of loom. Because otherwise we're going to have to change the whole loom, or Dips has got a Dips problem.
I think Mickey's right, because this is going to be a nightmare. Like, that is a lot. Where is it? All of that. Oh, this one is the worst, yeah.
This one can be repaired, I believe.
That one could be repaired. It's not horrendous, but that is going to be, it's just going to be headache, isn't it? Like, and it's definitely not just damaged there, it's like damaged here, here, here. So imagine we get this whole car back together, get the engine in it, everything like physically is okay, and we're left with this mess. We're just not going to be able to sort it, are we?
And we know the dramas we get from one broken wire.
This is my problem. So like, everything on that side, okay. Everything on the back corner, okay. I think there's a tiny bit on the back there, but I'm really not worried about that. But this really is going to be a big headache. So I think we need to look into this like ASAP, because otherwise, if we get the engine back in, it's going to make it so hard. So
it is snug.
Maybe we park this for a little sec and let's pull apart the interior and have a look.
See where that wire goes.
And maybe there'll even be a part number.
Maybe.
I think that's probably dreaming. Luckily we've got the door off already, which is going to make our lives a bit easier. We can't get any power to the seat at the moment, which may be a bit of a ball ache.
We'll have fun getting it out.
Yeah, well, we'll just try our best. Try to get the seat out, pull the carpet back. Let's have a nose. And for us to be able to remove the seat, that means the car needs power so we can move the seat around. So that means hooking up the main power connections and a jump pack. Problem. Where's the door controls? We'll have to put the door on. Right, okay, we got that done off camera, but it did work. Might have required a few extra hands. These are some complicated seats. There's a lot going on here. It is now ready. Are we going forwards or backwards?
I think you come out your way. That was quite nice at the back of here.
And the final thing to get the seat out was disconnecting the seat belt. It's almost like I've worked on a Mercedes before. And now that's out the way, we need to get the carpet out to be able to see the wiring, which means taking the glove box off. I don't know why the interior is one of the bits I'm most scared of in this car. And at this point we were hopeful until we got a call from Mercedes.
And he thinks it's going to be the whole car loom.
Oh.
He did one about 6 months ago.
Right.
It took him just under 3 weeks to put it all in. They're made to order.
Oh no.
It's just the lead time.
Yeah.
I think it was roughly about 5-6 months.
Which is most definitely not the news which we want to hear, but for now we're going to continue stripping this back and having a proper look and inspection for ourselves to see if we can save this section out of another car. So our fingers were crossed as we were pulling up the final panels, hiding all the wiring, and when we got it up, this is what we found. Oh. It's not good.
It's not, is it?
It's not good. Please be a big multi-plug.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. Wow.
Oh. No.
do with finding a donor. I mean, they can make us one, but...
Did you not hear what you just said in the photo? It took someone at Mercedes 3 weeks to relume one of these.
And that's a Mercedes tech.
Yeah. I know the simple solution is in like everyone's head at home, and it would be for me as well, is like, but find like a front cut loom and then like splice it all in. But I just think there's so much wire in there and it's all so battered. How do you know, one, there's not damage that you've missed further back, two, that every single connection is going to be perfect, because chances are it's not going to be, and three, if you do have a problem, good luck finding it, because there is such a mess up there that like you're just going to be chasing your tail forever. But there's only, well, there is 3 solutions, isn't there? Find donor loom, splice in, buy full replacement loom, fit, or buy a full replacement loom and splice in. None of those options I really like. Well, on that note, if you have enjoyed this video and you feel sorry for us, make sure to subscribe to the channel, make sure to like this video, and I'll catch you next time.